everybody, Peter here from the Esoteric Order of Gamers, and welcome to another video. Today something a little bit different. I'm finally going to explore the Middle-earth battle... what's it called? Hello everybody, Peter here from the Esoteric Order of Gamers. Thank you for tuning in. Now I realise there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of content for gamers these days, so I really do appreciate you spending your valuable time watching one of my videos. I'm not going to tell you that you're doing something wrong or that Games Workshop are imploding or some dramatic thing. I'm just going to give you a good gaming content. I don't really care about hits and views and all that stuff anymore. I've been doing this stuff for too long. So if you want to sit with me for a while, grab yourself a drink or a cup of coffee or something and let's talk about something interesting in the world of gaming. And today, something a little bit different. I'm going to check out the Middle-earth strategy battle game. Now this game has completely passed me by, I have to say. I've played so many Games Workshop games over the years, but the Middle-earth strategy battle game, which was released first in 2001 when the Fellowship of the Ring film came out, I just gave it a miss. I didn't look at it. I don't know why. I thought maybe that the miniatures weren't very exciting. They were sort of a smaller scale and they didn't seem quite as detailed as normal Games Workshop figures. I loved The Lord of the Rings and I enjoyed the films and all that kind of stuff. I saw them theatrically when they first came out. And but for some reason, the idea of gaming in that world didn't grab me too much, so I didn't get into it. And when this new set came out, here it is, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim? I think it's Rohirrim, isn't it? This is the new starter set. When this came out, I thought, I think it's way past time that I checked out the Middle-earth strategy battle game. And this is the new set. It's got the updated rules, and it's based on a film that's coming out in December 2024, which is an animated film. Set before the events of The Lord of the Rings. So Games Workshop have capitalised on this film and re-released the Middle-earth strategy battle game in this set. Now, of course, as per usual, I've got this set for free so I can show it to you, and I don't charge for these videos, and my opinions are always my own. So what we're going to do is approach this from the point of view of a complete newbie. I know nothing about the Middle-earth strategy battle game. I don't know how it plays. I've never played it, not once. This is the first time, so you'll have an experienced gamer's viewpoint on getting into this game from scratch with this new set. So the first thing we're going to do is open the box and see what you get, and then there's just so much to do. I've got to build all the miniatures, and I've got to paint them all, and I've got to play some games, and I've got to tell you what I think. I think it's going to be a multiple video kind of thing. Let's start with an unboxing. We'll see how we go from there. Okay, so here's the new box. Now, the cover, not incredibly impressive, a little bit dark. Maybe this is a still from the film? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. It looks like an illustration, but it's not really exciting. It's a little bit dark and grim. So there you go. I mean, the emphasis is on the type, isn't it? But it is a good quality box. You know, I love a good quality box, and it's a nice thick one, so that's great. Inside, what do we got? Well, some impressive looking range rulers. They are a little bit bent, I have to say. They're not straight, but that's plastic for you. Maybe a bit of hot water treatment will fix that up. This appears to be a two-part ruler. Perhaps there's some joining piece there that makes it a long ruler. I'm not sure yet, but it's got the inches very clearly marked on there, as you can see. So we've got that. A whole bunch of bases, of course. And here are our miniatures. Now, of course, the Lord of the Rings miniatures are kind of more 28mm scale, and you don't see 28mm scale much these days. It's usually the more heroic 35mm scale, which makes for bigger figures. Games Workshop have creeped up in scale over the years, but way back when I first started playing games, 28mm was the standard scale. And I often wondered why they decided to make this that smaller scale. I'm not really sure why. It's a mystery. Anyway, here are the sprues. So I'm not sure what you get here. I've just looked on the Warhammer community site. Of course, there's a lot of Rohan figures. So we're going to be looking at a lot of mounted figures. You can see there we've got parts of horses. I'm not a big fan of painting cavalry. I don't know why, it's just tough. What I've got to do is make sure that I paint the horses separately from the riders, because there's nothing worse than trying to paint it all together and there's nooks and crannies you can't get into. So I'm going to make sure I do that. But they do look nice, of course, the usual Games Workshop quality. It's going to be really interesting. It's my first Lord of the Rings figures, so I'm kind of excited. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's Rohan, because I must admit Rohan isn't my most exciting sort of subject from the Lord of the Rings, but I may change my mind once I play. Who knows? The other good thing about this set is that it comes with some terrain. You get a couple of buildings as well, which is very cool. Oh, there's an errant piece that looks like a Dunlending's figure. There he is. I don't think we've got orcs in this set. It's just Dunlendings, who are the wild men. Who, poor old Dunlendings. They're not very exciting, are they? They're just wild guys. They're just dudes in sort of smelly, ratty outfits. They're kind of probably the less distinctive of J.R.R. Tolkien's figures. What do you say? Races? They're not races. Cultures. So anyway, we have some nice buildings, a couple of Rohan buildings. I'm really pleased they have terrain in there. That will be nice. We've got a protective sheet here. There's another little loose piece there. So be careful when you're opening your box, because you're going to have tiny little loose pieces. I'm worried I'm going to lose that. I'll put it on the box. So there's the box cover. And again, why did they choose that picture for the cover? I just don't think it gets across the excitement. You could have had, a cavalry charge or something. It would have been so much more exciting than that shot. Funny choice sometimes. What have we got here? This looks like a book of some sort. No, it's a map. Oh no, it's a paper map. Always disappointing. That's okay. It's a beginner's starter set kind of thing. And anyway, I don't need this because I've got some really nice neoprene mats of grassland sort of areas. I use mats by Deep Cut Studios. They send me freebie mats, which I show off to you when I play my games, and I'm really happy with them. And I think I'll be using that instead of this big paper map. Though I do have to say, it's big. It's pretty big. Yeah. Oh, I just ripped it. There you go. It's double-sided. It's a whole lot of grass with a few, you'll think, look, I'm not going to use it, so I'm not really worried about that. Whoops. Anyway, if you're starting, you might want to start with that. Or I really recommend getting some neoprene mats for your gaming. They're so good on tabletop mats. I'm using one here. This is one here. I just love the way the dice roll on them because they have that slightly bouncy surface. It's very cool. I kind of discovered them late in my gaming life. Next, we've got a book. This is Battle for Edoras. So, here we see some of the figures we're going to get. Heroes of Rohan, we have Haleth, never heard of him, Prince of Rohan, Harmer, Wolf, General Targ. They're from the Hill Tribes, so looks like Hill Tribes versus Rohan. Again, I kind of miss the orcs. That's all right. What I'm hoping is that I'm going to get really into this game system and then want to buy other figures from other factions. And I'm going to let you know whether I really get into it or not. There's a gameplay summary on the back. This is how you build your buildings. A couple of those. Are there two or are there more? I'm not sure. I think there's only two. Oh, look, this whole book. Oh, wow. Okay, most of this is building the miniatures. And then we have stats, it appears. I've got the scenarios. Here we go. So 2 buildings, as you can see, right there, and some fences. And then you've got your forces. And yes, it is mainly Rohan troops versus Hillmen. Not the most exciting pair off in the world, but there you go. There's some scenarios. Nice set of scenarios, and here are your stats for the figures that you get, which is nice to see. And then the rest is construction. So that's a very, very nice book just for sort of, scenarios and mostly putting the figures together. It's a nice production. It's good. Quick reference guide. Wow, okay. That doesn't look too bad. There's not too much. There's a move phase, shoot phase, fight phase, courage, stuff like that. Really looking forward to trying out these mechanics. Somebody told me that it actually works really well for smaller skirmish sort of size battles and for recreating moments from the Lord of the Rings, but it gets a little bit heavy-handed for larger battles. I know at one stage they brought out a supplement called War of the Ring, which was specially designed to kind of simplify the game a little bit so you could have larger battles. So maybe out of the box it doesn't work well for huge battles, which is fine by me because I'm not crazy about buying huge amounts of figures for this. I just want to, that's what I want to do basically. I want to recreate Lord of the Rings battles. Now this is something I'm very happy to see, which is a lovely hardcover edition of the rules. And the good thing about this is that it's the latest edition of the rules, so I don't have to muck around with working out what edition is what and when they've changed. Anything else in here? Oh, some dice. Some blue and red ones, strange colour choices, but there you go. Nothing else, that's all we've got. So, let's have a look at this book. And as soon as I open this, I'm transported to the books and the films. And I've just got to say, I started reading my first read of Lord of the Rings, I think I was about 12 or 13, so that's about 1978, 79. And I had a lovely big edition, and I'm going to go get it now so you can see it. Phew, that took a while to find, but here it is. This wonderful edition. Look at that, it's beautiful. Beautiful cover. All in one book. This isn't the actual book that I first read. I managed to get a copy later on of the same edition. And I remember carrying this around at in school and absolutely loving it. That was the first time I read it. I don't know how many times I've read The Lord of the Rings since. And so the strange thing is that the films are now 23 years old. The first one's 23 years old. And a lot of people grew up on the films. But to me, the films are still, you know, they're kind of a really modern phenomenon. To me, there's the book. And there's that bittersweet feeling of the fact that you'll probably never read the book again and be able to get those images from the films out of your head, because I remember reading it and imagining it all myself, which is something quite special. So I feel quite privileged that I had that experience, as much as I love the films, because I went all through school reading Lord of the Rings and thinking, oh, I wish someone would make a live action version of these films. So I was super excited when the films came out and really impressed with them. Anyway, that's just my personal history with the Lord of the Rings. So back to the book. Let's have a look inside. And of course, the amazing thing about Lord of the Rings is these maps, which are so evocative. Let's just have a look at the original ones again, because this is back in the days when no one made maps. I think in the back here, where are they? I thought this had a fold-out map. Perhaps I'm wrong. Are there enlargements? Oh, there are enlargements throughout the thing. So if we go to page 32. There we go. This had little enlargements of the sections of the maps. But how influential were these maps? Truly unbelievable. I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here. I hope you'll bear with me. What amazing maps. And this is about the same time I started playing Dungeons and Dragons as well. So these maps they're part of the fabric of my brain. They literally are, the way they were made. I've got to find out who the original artist was. I don't know who actually drew those maps. But they're incredible. Let's go back to the rules. So here we have, there's Bilbo, of course, the great Ian Holm. And I'm looking forward to sitting down and reading this. It's a brand new set of rules for me. As I said, I don't know how it plays. It's going to be fun discovering it. Looks like the book is absolutely chock full of photos from the film. So, you know, this is very much about the films. There we go. So, you know, there are your rules. It'll be interesting. Leaping, climbing, prone models. I believe there's some kind of heroic points system, so you can do heroic things or mighty deeds or something. Oh, look at that. It's a chart. Strength, cross-index with defense. Wow. And, oh, wasn't that a great scene? Fantastic scene where the orcs plough into the elves. What a classic. Anyway, I'll go into this in more detail when I've read through it, and of course when I talk about the actual rules themselves and how they play. And of course the other strange thing is that now I live in New Zealand, so you could even say that I kind of live in Middle-earth. There are places around where I live where some scenes were shot, and you know, you go out into the bit of forest where they filmed a particular shot. The thing that's interesting about visiting these places, of course, is that you think you're going to visit, and spoiler, I don't want to ruin the experience for anyone, but you think you're going to visit a scene from the film. But actually what you do is you visit an area where they filmed just a little bit of stuff. And often scenes from the film were filmed at wildly disparate locations. For example, the scene where Arwen is at the river and the Nazgul try to cross the river, and different from the books, of course, she conjures up the waves that drown the Nazgul. That was actually filmed in 2 different locations, and I've been to one of those locations, which is really weird because you go there and you realise that just behind you there's a car park. You know? So you're kind of at this river, which is lovely and everything, but right behind you, oh, it's just a normal car park behind some shops. So that's kind of weird. So if you are coming over to New Zealand to visit some of those locations, be aware of that. Of course, there are other ones like Edoras, which is featured in this set, which are absolutely spectacular, and they're out on sheep stations way out in the wilderness, and there's just no one for miles, except probably for other tourists checking it out. And I haven't been to some of those places. I'd love to check them out one day. It's amazing how time passes. I've been here for 8 years now, and there's a lot of places I haven't been. I still haven't been to the Shire, which is up on the North Island. I've got to go there and check it out. So, welcome everybody on this little journey into Middle-earth as I check out the Middle-earth strategy battle game. This is going to be a series of videos over quite probably a long period of time, because I've got all these miniatures here that I have to build and paint before I even start playing. So I've got some work to do. There's some bits falling on the floor. I've got to make sure I don't lose anything. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, whether about the Middle-earth strategy battle game or some other fantastic game. You might have noticed that I'm not on social media a lot these days. I've decided to not spend much time on social media because I just think it's a whole lot of garbage, really. I do like interacting with people who watch my channel and enjoy the Esoteric Order of Gamers stuff, though. I will never stop enjoying that. And I just don't do it on social media as much. So join my Discord channel if you want to chat with me and other like-minded gamers. Or you can contact me directly through the website. It's just that social media, I will be posting updates, but I'm just not spending a lot of time there because, you know, I'm not into reading any of that stuff now. In fact, I'm not actually watching any news or reading any news anymore either, because I just find it all pretty depressing and there's nothing I can do about it. So why waste time with it? I want to spend my valuable time playing games instead and doing other fun stuff. See you next time, everybody, and good gaming.